So I came up with the name for the mercenary company that Khalil is thinking of starting, and that is the Order of the Lightning Shield.
Now, your shield has a griffin on it.
I know.
So,
I know.
like, right off the bat, you're building this company on the pretense of false advertising.
But it was struck by lightning, though.
Yeah,
I was promised a lightning shield.
No, his
and then
sword
they
was
just turn around and
sword
go
was
home.
struck by lightning. He held his sword
Oh, I
aloft
thought it
above
was
his
the
head.
shield. You said it was the shield. That
I
got
said
struck.
shield.
Yeah,
Why
I
would he
heard
be
so too.
Why would he strike an ogre with his shield?
He was
You
holding
said
it
his
up.
shield,
he was
man.
thrown on the ground, and he was holding
That
the
doesn't
shield
make
up.
any
That's how I heard
sense.
it.
It was sword.
You said shield.
Whatever I said was wrong, man, because it was his sword, not his shield.
I assumed he survived the lightning strike because it didn't get a critical hit on him.
Right, yeah.
Lightning doesn't have to roll to hit. He failed his dex save is what happened. Khalil,
Lightning sword.
you travel to
Hang on.
Kiska
All
to turn in your resignation.
Mm-hmm.
And the Gnoll is very displeased.
Oh, I imagine. I mean,
He asked what
I
became of the prisoner that you were supposed to bring to justice.
Tell him to get fucked.
Fuck you, I quit.
No, as far as the prisoner goes, he's been dealt with.
You were supposed to bring him back to Kiska to face the Jawl's justice, remember?
And that justice has been served.
To refresh my memory, because I don't recall. He was crucified.
He is dead.
He stood trial.
He's dead.
You killed him to slake your own vengeance.
As you told me a long time ago, sometimes one must go outside the law in order to serve the greater good.
He bristles at the comment, because he remembers that he made it. But he's very, very displeased. And you don't have to give your resignation because he discharges you. As far as he's concerned, you're not welcome within the walls of Kiska. You've brought great dishonor on the Wall Walkers, and he gives you this whole lecture about it.
You can't fire me, I quit.
You failed in your quest to seek justice. You know, you failed the Jaal, you failed all the guilds and all the citizens of Kiska, and now he's hearing stories from abroad of this this name you've made for yourself. You've given up your Kiska name and taken the name Thunderstruck. And he thinks that you're blinded by gold and glory and you've forgotten what is important in this life. Things like honor and discipline. This goes on for as long as you allow it.
Oh, once he starts trying to impugn my honor, I just walk the fuck out.
And he shouts after you for a moment, and that's the last you ever see of him.
Ask about your pension.
As I get back to the docks, I will take the officers' bars that I've had, and I will throw them into the bay.
Okay.
I've taken that shit off my character sheet.
And Eldove, you have been reading about mermaids for the past hour.
Wait, do I have a banana?
There's no banana right now. There's
Oh, give me a banana, come on.
no, not happening.
Brick, you told me to roll Arcana and Religion at disadvantage.
Yes.
I don't know what came of that, but I rolled an 8 on Arcana and 17 on Religion.
Right, I was holding off to hear what Eldove had to say first. But 17 was on religion.
Yeah, I
Okay.
rolled a 17 and a 19.
Let's hear what Eldove has to say.
Alright, so, wait, let me get back to my computer and look at this. Okay. I have looked into merfolk in the Dungeons & Dragons realm, right?
Okay.
And merfolk worship the god Adro.
Which resource was
And-
this?
This is Wikipedia.
Well, I know, but like, which book was this in? Like, did you even source it? I'm just curious to know.
I can look up where they source Adro.
It's probably either FR or Greyhawk.
I would
It's gonna be one
well,
of the two.
if it was Greyhawk, it would be Osbrim or one of those deities.
Living
it's
Greyhawk official listing of deities for use in the campaign version 2.0.
Yeah, Greyhawk actually
Greyhawk.
has a lot of other deities.
Okay, cool. So what did you find?
Adro is represented as a jellyfish, and his symbol is a spiral, indicating growth through unity.
Okay.
Which reminds me of a race of jellyfish I know who create spirals and believe in growth through unity.
Okay.
So my thinking is, these people may have some kind of spiritual significance to the merfolk if they become aware of them, and if I deliver Flumph ink to them for use in religious paintings and so on and so forth.
Okay.
And then from them take like trinkets and so on and so forth, as well as stories from the underwater realm.
Okay.
I can trade those stories for the ink, sell the trinkets and the some of the ink, and make money that way. And the Flumph will be happy because they'll get a bunch of new stories from the underwater realms that they've probably never heard of before. The underwater people might be happy because they might think that the Flumph are some kind of avatar of their deity and be useful that way. And I'll be happy because I'll make some money.
And I'll be happy because you're fucking over those two dudes up in that mountain. It's fuck Jason and Gleason.
Those dudes were assholes.
Arik,
Yes, sir.
Osprey is only one of many deities in the ocean.
Right.
And the deities revered by the underwater kingdoms, merfolk you're not exceedingly familiar with, but you know that their spellcasting needs, their priests, are very different from yours in terms of material components and whatnot. And components that they would consider to be rare would be plentiful on land and vice versa. So, mulling over it without actually having any personal contact with the underwater kingdoms yourself, you would have suggested that to Eldove as a possible avenue of trade.
Okay.
Spell components for clerical rituals and things that are very difficult for them to come by, but which Eldove might be able to supply.
Oh, that's useful. And then also, the other side too, they might be able to find spell components underwater that wizards
Exactly.
here would use.
Like pearls.
Now,
Like pearls! Ah!
Oh my god. I didn't know that was kind of funner.
Oh, we can hit so many pearls, you guys!
Wait, those come from underwater?
Oh! I thought pearls were grown! Didn't we find them in a group of gems?
I was sitting here thinking, like, is he gonna put the connection together himself, or... And he did. God bless him. Eldove.
Yeah.
First of all, you don't have any means of travel because you're still setting up the circle. You're sending Tarin as your emissary.
I'm gonna ask around. I'm gonna ask my friend in town who's the head priest of what was their battle god? Whatever. And I'm also gonna ask around at the wizards university.
Well, I'm not that far yet. Right now, I'm looking to just facilitate the trade. So you're saying Tarin is your emissary, yes?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to.
Okay.
Is I'm gonna ask them if they have a teleportation circle.
No, in Kiska, there's not one.
Okay.
Does Tarin have any method of breathing underwater?
No.
I might have a spell that does that.
Doesn't
Hold on.
Zook have that doodad that he could borrow?
I think that's just a swim. That's not underwater
That's
breathing.
swim
is it?
speed. It doesn't let him breathe.
Well, I will totally loan that to him if it'll help his.
Let me hold on. I got a whole big spell list here.
Because here's the problem: what the scope of what Eldove is suggesting to the Nalna of the Divers Guild in Kiska is unprecedented. There is no contact between these two worlds. Eldove is looking to build a bridge. Like, remember Sarah Palin's Bridge to Nowhere? This is harder than that.
That was the other thing, is I thought they might be interested in this because one of the things that Adro does is try to build unity between races.
Now,
so they might have not had the opportunity.
I can walk on water.
Our cube alchemist can make us potions of water breathing for 40 gold pieces.
okay.
I can also create ritual scrolls of water breathing.
But here's the end result, Eldove. You are not going to be able to set up a consistent trade route. It's impossible. What you might be able to do, over the course of this research, is find a few eccentrics on either side of the divide, and then you can facilitate that trade. It's not going to make you a great deal of money, because the expense of getting the goods from one place to the other, the danger involved alone, is overwhelming. And the expense of transporting these goods back and forth far outweigh the expense of the goods themselves. What I'll give you in exchange for facilitating this, we'll say that you set up, you don't actually have to do much to maintain it. You don't personally have to go deliver the shit.
Mm-hmm.
But you've made the contacts in Aqueous.
Mm-hmm.
So and you've learned, we'll say that you've learned the kinds of things that they can provide, and that you can provide to them, vice versa. So if in your travels you have some noble who says, hey, I need some coral, or we need like 300 pounds of it so I can build a giant statue of my dong, or whatever, you can facilitate that trade as like a one-time thing to make a vast quantity of gold.
Mm-hmm.
In addition, this can now be your source of pearls. But I mean, it's going to require a lot of work, because you're like a couple generations from now, the trade route you're envisioning between man and merfolk may exist, but as the first step, as pioneering it, it's not going to happen probably in your lifetime. But you've made the first step.
Here's the thing. Is I'm gonna go take that ring, and I'm gonna cast the water breathing ritual on myself, and I'm gonna spend a year with the merfolk, and I'm gonna build them an underwater teleportation circle. That's what's happening after this campaign ends.
And now we know Eldove's endgame.
No, that is one of the... We'll talk about that later.
That's more the
Eldove,
game.
I'm
That's
gonna say there's a 5% chance over the course of 6 months working at this. I'm going to say there's a 5% chance amongst your contacts of nobility in Kiska and in Dunfoss and in Caer Tyrell that you found a particular noble, an eccentric, who wants a piece of art or something that only can be provided through this route. So if you want to go ahead and roll the percentile and you get 5 or under, I will give you a shitload of gold.
Hey, I'll just roll a d20.
That's not how it's done. Percentile chance means you roll percent. This guy, fucking 4th edition players. I quit. I'm done with all of you assholes.
Alright,
No, go ahead.
you know what, fine.
I'm just playing. You can roll whatever you want.
Hit that 20, yo.
That's very
criminal.
close. That was very close.
What about if I get my my sister to go looking for nobles?
No, she's
She's
useless.
meeting with nobles, right?
I'll tell you what, though.
Yeah.
The 19 was close enough. I'll say you managed to facilitate an 800 gold piece trade.
Alright.
For a coral statue that one particular noble in Dunfoss wants in his fountain, and he knows that you have this particular contact, and he's flabbergasted, and he's very attracted to this particular underwater kingdom idea, and he wants a statue of a merman or whatever with pointy nipples in his fountain.
What do I manage to get for the merman?
What's that?
What do I get for the merman?
You're facilitating once in a great while trade in spell components and things with
Okay, I was hoping for some kind of ridiculous spell component like the 3rd nostril hair of a blue wormling.
Well, that's what I mean. That's the kind of stuff that they want. It's just the cost of actually transporting it out there and facilitating, like, you have to account for breathing underwater and the danger involved. That cost all offsets any kind of profit you could make. It's not profitable.
Okay.
I mean,
But
in terms of
every time something like that happens, you can manage to get some pearls. I mean, they're friggin' drowning in pearls. They've got all the pearls they could ever want.
So what you're saying is essentially from now on, I can just cast Identify.
Yes.
Okay,
So wait,
nice.
if he's devaluing pearls, does that mean he needs more of them or better ones to cast Identify?
Well, I'm not selling them.
Yeah. Let's not make this more Remember what I said earlier when Destil, he's the rules lawyer, I want to stab him in the eye? This is the shit right here.
If
I'm
I sold
trying
them,
to simplify the campaign a little bit, and Destil's trying to complicate it a lot.
now, if we're talking about looking for eccentric people, I feel like Linus Harpstring would really want something from Aqueous.
He
Oh
really
my god, you know who would really want
He
something
really
from Aqueous?
Really?
Is the archpriest of that church.
They don't. Well, I mean, what do you offer them?
I offer him to make him new wheels forged from coral.
And there's no interest in that.
No. 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 No.
Now, Arik,
Yes.
as Eldove is facilitating this, we'll say that you managed to come in. I'll let you decide what this is. But you managed to come into possession during the course of these unprofitable trades that Eldove insists on making. You come into possession of an icon or a relic of some kind. Not a magical item, but something that can set your church aside from other churches of Osprey. I'll let you decide what the icon is.
Okay.
But this is something that pilgrims of Osprey would travel to your church to see. Like you have the bones of Jude or whatever.
Burdong.
Alright.
See, I wouldn't think he would need much convincing. I would think Arik would be exactly on my side with this. He'd be like, yes, this is awesome.
Well, I'm sure he is, but Eris has no business clout. Like, he can't snap his fingers and make you money. But
I just want people to tell me I'm doing good.
You're very pretty, Nodal.
Alright, so Khalil. Put on your character sheet somewhere that you have 5 men-at-arms in the garrison.
Alright.
And, I mean, I guess they've constructed like a log cabin or something for themselves for now, because there's no money in the budget for a barracks or anything yet. They count as level 1 fighters. I don't care if you want to actually give them the level and hit points and names and backstories, that's fine. If you just want to say 5 men-at-arms, that's fine too. Whatever you want to do with them. These are men that are at your disposal. You can bring them on adventures. You can send them out to do things. But their main job is to help hold down the fort here.
McDohl? McDohl?
Yeah.
Are you happy to have 5 men under you?
Oh, yeah.
McDohl, how many of them are half-orcs?
What, Nodal?
None.
How many of them are half-orcs?
Arik, likewise, mark down that you have 1 first-level cleric who is an acolyte at your church.
And Ultra Boy.
This person, man or woman, I don't care, whatever. This person can facilitate all of the duties required at the church in your absence. He or she would be young, but they're wise beyond their years, and they can cast any spells that a first-level cleric could cast. So they can deal with the day-to-day spell casting needs for the farmers' families and the men-at-arms and whatnot.
I specifically instruct him not to charge a lot of gold and to not build wheels that will determine what the price of the casting is.
Now, that's a good question, though. Do you want him to charge anything? Because remember, you don't have a flock. You don't have anyone to collect tithing from, but at your discretion, he could charge for spell casting. He can cast anything a first-level cleric can cast.
I mean, how much can these farmers are really poor right now?
You could have them charge travelers, but not locals.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of travelers, but I mean, after the first year, travel has picked up a little bit because the road is safer. There's a way station in the middle.
Idea.
Okay, then give me 1 second because we actually have a little bit of house rules for this.
Arik, the young boy. Is it the boy that you left in Garrison?
No, he's like
a
rock star now.
Yeah,
No, this was somebody from. Yeah, but this is somebody from the Garrison Church. This would have been one of the acolytes from the Garrison Church.
It was one of the acolytes from the Garrison Church, not the kid I left with Linus. Who now farts into trumpets or whatever.
Now, when they were at Kiska, Arik, it costs, in terms of gold pieces, spell level times caster level times 50 to cast the spell, and then that number is doubled if it takes a physical or mental toll on the caster, and then on top of that you add any cost material components. That's the baseline in Kiska. So you have a level 1 cleric casting level 1 spells. At that baseline, he charges 50 per spell.
50 gold per spell, right?
And he doubles that if it's something that's going to take a physical or mental toll on him, which nothing applies.
I was going to say, like, level 1, that shouldn't be doing that.
50 is the baseline. You can go higher or lower. And then I will just roll some dice to determine how many travelers he services over the course of the 6 months. He's not that kind of altar boy.
Phrasing, Brick Road, phrasing.
Yeah, services for free for anyone who works at the at our
At the
village.
farm.
Yeah, at
Yeah.
the farm. That includes like soldiers and farmers and whoever else actually does work there.
Okay.
Anyone who passes by, that seems like a fairly standard rate.
Okay, and how much?
If it's life or death, like if it's a life or death situation, then they can do an IOU sort of deal. Like,
So now, is this a business venture, or are we calling this like a recommended donation?
recommended donation.
I like that phrasing.
Yeah.
I recommend it. Am I the one recommending it to them?
Okay. Oops. Roll some dice.
And
So over the
whatever's
course
rolled
of the
goes-
6 months, he makes 350 gold from travelers. Many of the travelers don't revere Osprey. Your relic isn't in place until the end of the year.
Right.
So you haven't started attracting people for that yet. Most people who they just require like a quick cure wounds or something along those lines, and when they hear recommended donation, a lot of them don't give very much.
Jerks.
But if you set the recommended donation at 50, he makes 350 over the course of that 6 months. So keep that
that's
number
fine.
handy. For
yeah,
now.
that's gonna go right back into the town.
Okay. So that takes care of Khalil and Arik. Tarin, you spent a lot of this time schmoozing, yes?
Yeah.
People are most intrigued by this idea that you come from another world. You don't have an established house or any land, or like your family name is not known, but you're clearly a well-to-do man. I mean, you own your own ship. So I mean,
I clean up good. I dress the part.
yeah, and like clearly you are nobility, but you're not like a beggar prince either. Like, and so a lot of people find you very intriguing as you start to filter into high society. So we're gonna say, like, we're not gonna, unless you want to go write all the backstory for it, we're just gonna say that you've got contacts in Kiska, Dunfoss, and Caer Tyrell that are at your disposal when we need to call upon them. These are not friends, these are contacts. In other words, they're not going to do favors for you. They can provide services for you at a cost.
Right. No, I just mostly again want people I can. If the world begins to end and I need people to get the word out, I need people I can actually cast sending on.
Sure. Yeah. So you've spent the time making those contacts. Zook,
Yeah.
your profit for the second 6 months doing the rangering, 430 gold in furs.
Okay. Same deal as before, putting it into the fund.
Okay.
Duke is happy to be of service and at home in the woods and having fun right now.
Orphan.
Uh-huh.
So you decide that the privateering life is behind you. You're going to go after bigger fish. And Swent brings you the tasty morsel of information from a seedy sailor dive during one of your shore leave in Kiska. He tells you of a pirate's cove, and it would be very far to the south of Kiska. You'd have to sail up to a collection of rocky islands, like in this area over here.
Okay.
He says there's one island in particular that is known as a pirate way station. These pirates that hassle up and down the shoreline of Kiska. Most of these ships would be like in the northern area. There's not much civilization down here. But if they sail along the coast, it's relatively safe from sea monsters and the like. And he's heard a legend of a pirate's cove, a place where these pirate ships meet, where they declare safety for themselves there. And you're thinking, if you could go there and make a bust, you could score a big payday. So here's what I want you to do.
Okay.
First, you can make... None of these checks are at advantage or disadvantage. Just make them.
All right.
First, I want you to make a straight charisma check.
Okay.
DC for all of these is 15. I just want to know how much you make them by, or miss them by.
All right. This one I make by 17.
You make it by 17?
Well, it's a 17, so I make it by 2.
You made it by 2. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That check determines whether or not the other men aboard the ship are on board with your idea.
Okay.
That is your ability to hold them in line. And you made it, but you didn't make it by a great deal. So my next question is, how are you going to go about it? Are you just going to go in with guns blazing, try to set the place alight? Are you going to try to like infiltrate the place with your men? Like, how are you going to approach this issue?
So, since we used to be a pirate vessel, I'm going to consult with Swent and Balin, who they were both here before, right?
Balin was. Swent was not.
Swent was one of the captains. That's right.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll consult with Balin, who I've been consulting with all the time anyway, and see if we've got any of the old regalia up from our pirating days.
No, that was all torched.
That was all torched.
That was all. Yeah, it was all. Actually, before we go any further, I need to ask Tarin, what became of Fila? Did you leave her on the ship, or did you put her up somewhere? Where do you have Fila?
Where does she want to go? Like, I mean, that would.
She wants to be with you. Wherever, like she'll, like, her point of view is, like, if she's not yours, she's nothing. Like, she will go wherever you tell her to go.
And I'd have her at the keep, I guess. That's where I'm spending most of my time.
Okay. Then
Again, my teleportation deal is
she's not happy at the
one
keep.
person.
But she's keeping her displeasure to herself. This is not the lifestyle that she's used to out in the middle of rustic bumfuck nowhere. But I mean, the tasteless, horrible meat that Zook keep, like the squirrels and shit. I mean, Eldove is there, so he's making it taste pleasant. She's not aboard the ship, right? Okay.
Right.
I'm sorry, Nick. Now
Is
please
she any
continue.
good at decorating? We can make this inn look a little less shitty. Eldove would be way down with somebody making this as good as he expects it to be.
Then come up with a gold piece value of how much Eldove is willing to invest in that. Nick, you know you don't have any more of the regalia, and Swent points out that your ship, the Adric's Honor, has a reputation amongst pirates in the Dunfoss Sea as being a relatively skilled privateer. Like, if you sail within eyeshot of this island and it's real, they'll know you're coming.
Okay.
Well, I think she's gonna have to pull a Wind Waker then.
So my plan then is we're not going to make a bust. We're not going to go sailing into the place, but we are going to approach it. And see if we can wait for somebody to leave and accost them.
And so you're going to wait till somebody departs and then kind of chase them down, and we're like tab on the map where you kind of want this standoff to take place, like where you want this altercation.
All right. So if this is the location as I understand it, as Swent has given it to me of the Pirate Cove.
Yes. And sailing down there, you do find that it is real.
Yeah. We would lay for them somewhere around here.
Okay. So on their way back, traveling up the coast?
Yeah.
And now, are you waiting for anybody particular? On a scale of 1 to 10, how notorious of a pirate do you want to catch? If 10 is like Blackbeard.
We're going for a 7.
A 7. Okay. Now here's what I want you to do. I want you to make me a stealth check at disadvantage. And tell me how much you make it or miss it by.
Stealth, right? What is my... stealth is decent. Okay. I make
Not
that
bad.
by 2.
By 2?
Yeah.
Okay. And then how do you actually do the attack? Like, do you sail up on them with the ballistas firing? Do you... Like, I'm not even sure what all resources you have aboard the ship to attack them with. I mean, you just pull up alongside them and try to board?
Yeah. It would be a boarding party.
Okay.
Because I don't think we have a lot of gun anyway.
I mean, you don't have any
cannon.
You don't have any.
We don't have any
guns,
cannon as far as I know. Yeah.
but you have heavy ballistas.
Yeah, we'll lead with that then, but the intent is that's our opening salvo on a boarding mission.
Okay. So now, what is your intent as far as the ship? Total destruction, take prisoners, sink it, take it a prize.
Total annihilation of the pirates. Try to take the ship in one piece so we can claim whatever's aboard.
So take no prisoners.
Take no prisoners.
Let's do an intimidation check.
Damn.
Orphan's neutral.
She's not a particularly nice person.
Just be evil once in a while.
No, this is just a standard check. You don't need to make this at
Oh, well,
disadvantage. You can take the
I
18.
don't know
I'm
what-
fine with that.
Okay, all right. I'll take the 18, and that's intimidation, and I get a +1 to that, so 19.
Okay, so you made that one by 4. All right, roll some percentile dice on my end. Okay.
I hope you're rolling as badly as badly as I am. Well,
Don't forget, Eldove had to kill like 4 guards actually, because Orphan murked 2 dudes in the back during a fight once.
The fight is brutal. You keep your ship in a place where you think it's out of view. And as far as you know, none of the men aboard the vessel you pick out know you're there. And then you give chase. And of course, as soon as you give chase, they're aware of your presence. So all they gotta do is look behind them and be like, oh, look, there's a...
right. It's hard to sneak up on someone within a ship.
The ship you're going after... The captain's name is Mace. Captain Mace. He's known as the Cruel.
Okay.
What's his ship name? Where's the random name generator here? I don't know. Do you have a good ship name in mind? What ship would you like to take as prize?
We'll call it the
The angry Flumph.
we'll call it the Scorpion.
The Scorpion?
Yeah.
A very
The scorpion tail.
Kind of deserty, yeah.
A
Yes.
feared aquatic animal.
feared aquatic animal.
Yeah.
And you pull up alongside Captain Mace's vessel. I mean, he's got you outgunned. He's got more ballistas than you do. He's got more men than you do.
Mhm.
But you board, and when his men sees that you have no intention of giving any quarter, some of them break. Next, I want you to roll... Let's see here. Give me an insight check. Same rules. DC 15. Tell me how much you get it. We'll see how much you get it by.
Let's see. Insight. So that's I get that by 9.
Okay. Soon after you board, it becomes very clear to you, like instantly, like you can end this a lot faster if you abandon the give no quarter and you offer to take in the men on Mace's side. You see, this was a ship close to mutiny for some reason. You're not sure what was going on, but it doesn't really matter. It's to your advantage. As soon as they see you're going to give no quarter, a lot of the men on his ship break, and you see the opportunity to seize control of the ship and take these men as well.
Yeah, I'll take that then.
Okay, so you give the order out that any man of Captain Mace's vessel, any man aboard the Scorpion who wishes to serve
And
aboard the Adric's Honor...
I can make this order in a loud voice.
Oh, and so everybody hears it. And
Yeah.
by the end of the day, much blood has been shed. In fact, you're going to lose 7 sailors in the deal. But their numbers were much larger loss. Like, you actually have a list of sailors somewhere. Just go ahead and pick whichever 7 names you don't like and delete them.
Okay.
But
That's on our party loot, I believe.
there are 10 sailors aboard Mace's crew who
Defect.
defect, essentially.
Mhm.
Mace himself is shown no quarter. He's put to the sword. Now, what does Mace have in his hold?
And 7 of those 10 sailors, surprisingly enough, have the exact same name as the 7 sailors who died.
Weird. His hold is full of treasure, and you come to find out this is the source of the mutiny. Captain Mace wanted to keep a far larger share of the treasure than he was entitled to, and many of his sailors got wind that he was fudging the numbers in his favor. He has, in coin and plunder and weaponry and things you can resell, gems, etc., 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 5,600 gold pieces.
Holy shit.
All
Nice.
told.
Nice haul.
That's about half of what was on the Flumph originally, I think. You guys, because you guys had that like masterwork dwarf.
Yeah, no, we actually have more than that on the ship now if you include magical shit.
Yeah.
Just with, I mean, the ship itself has nearly 4,000 in gold.
And you found, I mean, there's no magic. I'm not giving you any more free magic items. You already got one.
Yeah.
But yeah, 5,600 in gold. You don't have enough crew to man both of these ships, though.
Yeah.
So your option is to let it adrift or sink it.
We'll sink it once it's been thoroughly plundered.
Okay, so you add the names of the 10 men from Mace's ship into the ledger.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to you to add those names to the sheet. I know they actually do have names because I know I put them on the website. FantasyNameGenerator.com.
Yeah, I'll add them to the party list then.
And
so you sell them to slavery then, huh?
Captain Mace, he's a relatively big guy. I mean, this is a very notorious pirate, known for his cruelty. But when you boarded him, I mean, it wasn't an easy fight, but what you saw was, like, this was a man who had very large amount of difficulty just keeping his own house in order. His men were on the brink of mutiny, and he was keeping it under control with an iron fist. And so when they went up against a foe that was going to show them no quarter, because you didn't get any negative rolls, you passed all of those rolls. Some of them only marginally, but at the end of the day, you come out with these 10 men, sailing men, and 5,600 gold.
Okay.
And the knowledge of where this pirate cove is.
Yeah. I'm not sure I want to keep any of these men aboard my ship. I'll let them go at Kiska and hire more.
Okay.
Hire 7 more to replace the 7 we lost.
Okay.
So I'm gonna roll. You're rolling Egyptian names on that.
You can use whatever you want.
Okay. Yeah, I just don't entirely trust their loyalty.
Okay. I mean, but you let them off at Kiska?
Yeah. They each get. We'll say they each get 10 gold. These 10 men. So that's 100 gone for their part in the fight.
Okay.
And then I let them go.
Okay. Now my dinner just arrived, so that's gonna come be the end of our downtime here. So what is our final gold piece value for building? What is it at the end of the first year?
Tarin, did you add the 800 that I brought in?
How much?
800?
Not yet. And then is Orphan bring any of the loot from the ship back or not?
Yes. You guys can have, we'll say, 3,000 of this gold.
Khalil brought in nothing
now,
during
keep
the
in
second
mind
6 months.
the charter of your ship, and Balin reminds you of this when you mentioned taking it back to build this keep in Tetloteus. He reminds you that plunder needs to be divided amongst the men, and then what you do with your share of it, he says, if we start taking the plunder and skimming off the top, we'll be no better than Captain Mace was in the end.
That's true. Okay.
So I mean, your size of that 5,600 between you and Tarin and the rest of them.
I'll figure it out. Yeah.
Okay.
Tarin
has all the rules. I'm gonna run to the kitchen. I'm gonna get myself a plate, fork and knife, so I can eat my calzone. When I come back, I will get that gold piece number. This is the number. This is the amount of gold that you guys are going to be investing in building whatever else you want to build on this plot of land. And then when I come back, I want to get started on tonight's adventure. It's 8:30, and I think we can get to a really good stopping point for tonight's adventure.
All right.
So I'll be right back.
Sweet.
Do some math.
Destil, make sure you add 350 gold pieces to that too. That's from my level 1 cleric doing his thing.
Did you get my 430 for my pelts earlier?
No, give me a second.
Okay.
All right, let's go down the list and see what everybody brought in for the second 6
Well,
months.
I've been adding them as people say to, so I just need the pelts again.
It was 430 for my second 6 months.
3. Well, right now we're at 23, but that does include the 3,000 that we're probably not going to get.
Well, you can add some more to that. Don't forget that the wine got sold for another 6 months.
Oh, we actually got the number back on the wine? I must have missed that while I was eating.
It was 182 a month. Well, it's been a year now, so 182 times 12.
Oh, I thought we were using that to offset the upkeep, but...
Well, I mean, just add it all to the gold and then remove the upkeep.
Yeah.
Alright, what is our number?
I'm still doing a little bit of math here. Give me
Okay.
a second.
And I'm doing a little bit of math, too.
Sure. Math is good. Math is good.
And if we're within like a few hundred, I've got some cash on hand I can throw in, depending on where we're at.
Tarin has no money left.
Remember that thread I was telling you guys about? That like 60-page thread? What's the point of gold in 5th edition? This.
The answer is dumb shit, same as every edition.
Well, I'm sure you could totally play a campaign where gold is more scarce, so you're buying, you know, equipment or potions
Gold
or
is such
whatever.
rare as magic items.
All right, my contribution, which is to say all the officers and support characters' contribution of this haul, is 1700.
Okay. And that's after
So-
paying out, hiring the new guys and everything?
That's after hiring the new guys. That's after the Marine and Balin's share and all that stuff.
And this is by far the biggest payday you've gotten off of a single boat.
Mhm.
I mean, you managed to
In
catch
total?
him right up, like before he sold off all his latest plunder.
The grand total, those are going to be some very well compensated pirates. The grand total is 24,066 gold pieces.
Over the year.
Yep.
Now, for 24,600, you can't build a keep, but you can establish an inn, a trading post, and hire enough men to garrison to defend it against the orcs and whatnot. And Khalil's men would be in charge of the garrison.
That would be enough for us to leave it pretty safely, hopefully, for a little bit of adventuring time.
Right. If you invest all that money in building the inn, the trading post, there would also be enough for a modest temple to Osprey. And politically thinking, like I said, he has that relic because Eldove set up that trade route. This is a possible source of pilgrimage, which can bring in some money too.
We're gonna need a gift shop.
Right.
We could sell tiny little swords that when
So-
you hold them, a bolt of lightning noise plays out. Like a
I love
magic
it.
mouth.
So, we've got the farm, we have the watchtower, we have the inn, we have the temple, and we have the garrison. Is that correct?
That's correct. And I mean, you're not building like a defensible barracks or anything. I mean, your garrison, you'll have to build them meager lodgings.
Yeah, it's a garrison and probably a wooden palisade, right?
Right.
Did
Now-
this all include the stone wall, like kind of around the perimeter, or how did that come out?
No, you built a stone wall around your farms at the beginning, and a
That's
fortified
right.
tower. No, I mean, you do not have stone walls around the whole encampment.
Okay.
Now, let me tell you who all lives here. You have 2 farming families. 4 able bodies in each family, plus younger children. They're mostly self-sufficient. I mean, because they're growing what they need to eat. The forest
Selling
provides plenty of
surplus.
meat and whatnot. They can't sell anything. Their crops hasn't been a full growing cycle yet. Or actually, it's about a year has passed.
Yeah.
I don't know what profit you would make on grapes, though. Eldove, you want to calculate that?
If you want me to look up how much grapes sell for,
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm sure there's somebody's got 3.5 rules out there for this.
Well, I
But
mean,
yeah, I'll give
didn't
you
you
the
guys
I'll give you
say-
the profits of one grape crop.
All right, Google D&D. How much do grapes sell
Oh,
for?
you're also going to probably need a hunting lodge. You're probably going to have to hire on a ranger to continue Zook's duties while he's gone. Someone who can continue to go into the woods
All furs.
Yeah, collect meats and furs and things.
And I would maybe send a note to message the Ben to ask him if he knew of anyone or anything like that.
I mean, you could find somebody and hire them.
Yeah, I mean, we have all this travel between Garrett and whatever. Okay.
Okay. Tarin, you're probably going to want these numbers. Okay, farming family, what's next?
If somebody else could write them down, because I'm just finishing up my dinner, that'd be awesome.
Sure. Yeah, can somebody else take this numbers down? These are the people who live here. Who live and work here. In addition to the 5 men-at-arms and the 1 acolyte. 2 farming families, 10 people total. The inn has 1 skilled hireling, 1 guy who, the proprietor of the inn, and he has 5 people working under him. These are people that are lodged there at the inn. They see the day-to-day tasks: cooking, cleaning, serving guests, mixing drinks. Sorry, I'm also putting dinner in my face, too.
Alright, so I've got 10 farmers among the 2 families, and 6 people at the inn.
Can
One
Fila
skill-
run the inn?
1 skilled manager and 5 people under him.
Can Fila run the inn?
That was a joke I made earlier.
Yeah.
I got a little overlooked.
That sounds like an innkeeper name.
Fila has ideas on how to run the inn, if you float the idea by her. She says she believes you can make a lot of money with the weary travelers coming north and south and vice versa. She believes you can make a lot of money by turning the inn into a comfort house. And she would be happy to oversee this.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Tarin probably needs further explanation of what he means by that. She means by that.
Tarin's like, oh yeah, comfortable house? Let's absolutely. That sounds great.
Sounds good.
Oh no.
With this
Can I-
temple of
can I
Osperum
Can I pull
with this
Tarin
relic
aside
in
and
it.
explain just what the hell happens in Keyskin comfort houses?
What does happen? What happens in Keyskin comfort houses stays in
This is
Keyskin comfort
Keyskin
houses.
comfort houses.
I don't think at this point.
So Khalil pulls Tarin aside and explains what this entails.
Yeah.
Tarin
don't think we-
nods, thinks for a few minutes. Yeah, you're right. We should probably wait until the place is bigger, so it's not the only not the only place to rest. Once we have enough space for 2 inns, that makes better sense then.
So, Fila, like, managing the inn, the day-to-day business of the place, is out of her skill set. Not in her wheelhouse. She's not much for cooking and cleaning. I mean, her particular set of skills does not lend itself to running the inn. But she would be very comfortable staying there as, like, a full-time resident.
Right, yeah.
So, an innkeeper and 5 workers at the inn, 5 unskilled workers.
Okay.
The trading post has 6 people there with different kinds of goods that they get from the forest, from the surrounding lands. 4 of those are skilled and 2 are unskilled. That's at the trading post, where you guys can all post your goods.
Got it.
Upkeep cost. This is per day. For the farm, 5 silver.
So 5 times 365, or yeah.
For the inn, cost per day is 10 gold. And for the
Okay.
trading post, cost per day is also 10 gold.
Alright.
For the first year that you're in operation here, you probably will not turn a profit on it. There's not quite enough travel yet, but word is getting around. Travel is picking up a bit. You guys all have means of supporting yourselves outside of the Blue Wormling Tavern, or whatever you've come to call it. So, I mean, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But as time passes, I'll make some rolls on the side and see how big of a profit you guys make.
All right. Did that 24,000 was that pure, like we had to dump that in that, or does that cover any of our upkeep for a time?
20 for that. I thought that was just the overhead startup costs.
Well, that's
That's
what you guys had on hand.
Mm-hmm.
Let me work out how much you still have left after building the inn and the trading house and everything.
I looked online,
Mhm.
and the best I can find is a thing figuring out like how much a farmer profession character would make.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't split it up by crop or anything,
Okay.
and it says per family about 11 gold a week.
Let's double that, because you're focusing on a crop that not only is kind of a niche crop, it's not something that's grown in vast quantities in a lot of places. I mean, it's not like a subsistence crop, but it's also a crop that has regional value. By which I mean grapes grown in this area of the world will be different from grapes grown further north or south.
Yeah.
So that's 88 gold per month per farm.
I mean, you only got the one farm.
I thought we had
And
two families.
you do. They're
There's two
working
families
one
working
farm.
Oh, well, 88 gold per month per family then. Because the value is per family.
Okay, that's fine. So, 88 gold times 2 families,
Times 12.
and so that harvest
21,
brings you. I'm going to round it down a little bit. We're going to round it to 2,000 gold. And I mean, Eldove, it's up to you to facilitate the sale of this, which I'm sure is easy for you to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine we
wineries
keep
and
a
whatnot.
portion of that up to start, fermenting for wine.
Oh yeah, we're only gonna sell, I think, like 3/4 of it, and then we're gonna start fermenting it, and we'll start doing more and more as time goes by.
Okay, then let's call it 1,400 profit selling grapes, and you kept the rest behind to start fermenting. Okay, so I'm going to say an even 20,000 to get all the construction done, which I think leaves you 4,000. Is that correct? In the kitty, plus the 1,400 that the grapes brought in, so you should be at 5,400. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
So as long as all these ventures don't lose 5,400 gold in the first year, you guys will be in business. But we don't need to make that roll just yet. We need to get some adventuring done.
Yeah.
Yay.
Oh, we're gonna start an adventure now?
Orphan's like, what are you guys talking about? I've been adventuring for a year.
Nodal, you've completed your teleportation circle. It's there now.
Yay!
So what can we do with this thing?
Oh,
We
yeah.
can. Okay, let me get the full description here. If Eldove doesn't notice he finished it for a day, and he does it for an extra day. It was a leap year.
He started it on the leap year.
Yeah. So, many major temples, guilds, yada yada yada.
I don't know. Is there a leap year on Discworlds?
It just depends
Alright.
on whether or not the year is something.
A shimmering portal appears anywhere we are, and we can push shit through as long as they all enter within one round. So it's not like we can send a whole caravan through, but like the group of us could all enter in one round. And you appear within 5 feet of the destination circle.
So
Or
you-
in the nearest unoccupied space if that space is occupied.
And you, so you cast the teleportation circle and you open up a portal to this one.
Right.
Okay. How long does it stay open? 1 round?
It stays open for 1 round.
Okay.
And it takes a minute to cast.
Be rad. It's a nice little escape hatch.
Yeah. I mean, provided we have the minute to cast it.
How often can you do that per day?
Currently, 3 times a day, but it'll go up as time goes by.
Okay.
I can also make scrolls of teleportation circle if necessary.
Ooh, do you want to spend some time and do that before Zook before you go out?
Are you going to be teleporting by yourself back here?
I mean, what if you're dead and I want to get you back home?
Leave me with Arik.
All right.
What if you and Arik are dead?
Then who's going to revive either of them?
Ooh.
Yeah. Then who's going to revive us? So it won't matter.
All right.
All I'm saying is,
Yeah, if we're both dead, you're all in trouble.
can you make
But
a
for what it's
scroll
worth,
of
if you're both dead, you're not on the list, so the universe isn't in trouble
Zook, I'm not
either.
making you a scroll for every single one of my spells.
not asking for all of them. I just want this one. No, that's fine.
So, you all have the correspondence that you got from the Wizard's Tower. Talking about a pair of magical glasses, which when worn would allow anybody to read a spell scroll regardless of training, with no chance of failure. And you decide that this would be useful to you in your quest against Gendred. This is some device that you all feel will be helpful to you. And now that you're, like, when I go to put this on the map, what am I calling it? Blue Wormling Inn?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing.
What?
I don't think that would be useful to us anymore. Because we already have Zook.
Uh-huh.
And you have that ability.
Okay.
Well-
Well, if we decide that that's not useful, then this is the end of the session.
Hold on.
Well,
That's the adventure I have planned.
Well, that's without failure, Zook still has a chance for failure. Yes.
Yes.
All
Well,
I
then-
can do is I can improvise the use of the magical item without regard. I ignore class, race, and level requirements. If it still requires any kind of dice roll or anything like that, I still got to do that.
And it does, because the rules we're using for reading scrolls, it requires a spellcasting ability check. DC 10 plus the spell level, if it's not on your class's spell lists.
Right. So it would
The
still
Blue
be useful.
Wormling Lodge.
Particularly for something really difficult, like, say, I don't know, whatever our necromancer friend may be up to.
No, but wait. If it's not on his spell list, he has to make that check?
If it's on
But
his
that's
spell
for
list, but
anyone?
it's not a spell level that he can cast, he still has to make the check. Remember when Fred failed the raise dead roll?
Yeah.
Okay,
was off
so
the
it's
scroll.
just... So these
No,
glasses
Zook-
will make
Zook-
it so that no matter what the level, he can...
Well,
He
let's
can-
say you have a sorcerer spell scroll. Zook's not a sorcerer, so he can't use it. But now he has a class ability that says he can use it. Now he can use this sorcerer spell scroll, but he still doesn't have any spells on his spell list. He's still a rogue. He's not a sorcerer. So he can use the scroll, but he still has to make this check.
So, like, what if I gave it to Destil and it wasn't on his spell list? He couldn't use it at all?
Right.
Right.
That's why I didn't make a scroll of sending for you, by the way.
Using a scroll that's not in your class's spell list is impossible. All we're
That's
Okay.
yeah, Zook's ability just lets him ignore that.
Yeah,
But
that's
he
why
still
the
has to make
cleric
the
and
check
rogue
if
got
it's
them.
of a level he can't cast, which is all
And if we
levels.
get these glasses, he doesn't have to make the check.
Right, if you're wearing these glasses, which haven't been constructed yet, all you know is that the wizard at Lake Fenufar was working on constructing this device and sent correspondence to the wizard in the Goblin's Tower to get his opinions on what he might do to solve some magical problem he was having, but before that he could respond, or maybe after he responded, you don't know. Goblins happened, a hatch opened, and
Okay, I can see the values of these now. Second equally important question. What is the name of this wizard?
You don't know.
It wasn't on the letter?
It was not. Let me find the actual letter. Give me 1 second.
And
No, it was
Cube
not.
doesn't. Okay, and Cube doesn't know this wizard.
Cube has
right?
never read this letter. Oh,
Also,
yes, there was a
Warren-
name. I'm sorry, there was a name. Ferris Angus, Grand Wizard, Lake Fenufar.
Does he have a title? Is he Ferris the Magnificent?
He gave himself the title Grand Wizard, apparently.
Okay. What a
So
fun nerd.
So he's in the KKK.
Did Cube help Orphan kill kill Mace?
Orphan was not bringing Cube into any engagements.
Oh.
No, Cube, I don't even
Level
think
two.
he might have magic
wizard.
that would be useful in that kind of situation, but Orphan has ordered him to not engage in combat.
Over the
So
course of a
he's
year,
not
did he gain
gonna-
any levels?
Nope.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting
Level
at.
1.
No.